Hello, good morning.
Morning.
Hey, Allison, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
Still coughing. Oh my God, the flu
Oh,
killing me. Oh my God.
I'm so sorry.
It's good that I get rid of this. Don't start,
Ugh.
I'm always the first one in the household to get the flu, so, but it's,
Oh.
cough is always the last. How are things going? Is it getting cold up there?
Yeah, it's thinking about it pretty good.
Okay. Yeah, it seems that this week we're gonna have a switch again. Things are going to go south.
I know it.
So
I
tell
know
me
it.
a little bit about this recipient mail requirements in Oklahoma now.
Yeah, so we've been knowing about it. Dr. Bailey has been talking to them and giving lots of his opinions. But now, effective January 1st, 2020, you'll have to register, complete a registry form for all recipients that includes where they're going to be, their chip number, tattoo number, markings, identification, that kind of thing, with expected fulling dates and all that kind of thing. So anyway, I called her because I knew it was coming, and so I got a copy of it and replicated it and made it a form letter with HTML and stuff. So I've got all that. I just am missing, I think, the one variable, and I need to know how we're going to do markings in the future, since the GVL thing and all that, if we're going to have additional variables for the, head, right front, left front, all that.
Okay. Okay. So it's a requirement now. So you have to provide, and if you're going to move anything, you've got to have their kind of a permission number provided to you.
Well, it's more of a, if you want the foal to be an Oklahoma bred foal, then and it's a result of embryo transfer, you have to complete the form before November 1st, the year before it foals, or the foal cannot be in the program.
Okay. So
It
you're
doesn't matter where she goes. You just have to complete it.
so you don't have to have the full. You pretty much just put the recipient mare, donor
Right.
mare, and the stallion
Yep.
information, and then you have
Yep.
the form, and you create a form letter, you merge, and then you email or you send as a PDF.
They won't take email, so I will create an email, a PDF for the client, and send it to them so that they can turn it in. If I would imagine some of our clients are going to request that we fill it out, but it requires a signature. So I just thought it would be nicer to complete it for them and send it off as part of a, customer service kind of thing.
Gotcha. Excuse me. And how is the GVL thing going for you?
It's amazing. It's amazing.
Is it good?
So excited. It's amazing.
Oh my gosh, I'm so happy to hear that. You have no idea. I had a meeting with Global Vet Link a few days ago. I even forgot to let you know about that and update you on the latest.
Uh-huh.
They were calling me because it seems that there's that uh, requirement. The old mares were set as in a different
Yeah.
stamp or something, and they were not showing your list.
Yeah.
So have they contact you back to easily update your
I
validation?
talked to Ron, and he said that he would talk to the other guy that's a
Kevin, David?
yes, Kevin. And he said, I can't imagine that wouldn't be really easy. I said it has to affect other people I know, because there shouldn't even be the option for a mayor if that's not, But anyway, it won't allow, she'll show up in the list, but it won't allow you to map them unless they are exactly the same sex. So he
Gotcha.
indicated that it should be an easy fix, although he hasn't contacted me back. But I don't anticipate it being an issue.
Gotcha. But is the responses for the requests and are they coming back fine when you receive the results of the because you are a lab as well for Global Vet Link, aren't you?
Yeah. Yeah.
when you post the result, is it coming in a kind of a timely manner back in updating Wise Option as well?
It's pretty instant. I've only done 2 groups, and the first group was kind of where we were having some issues and got it fixed. The second group posted immediately. It seems as though as soon as we go to that horse in Wise Option, that it's there and posted and signed. And then the other big concern that I had that you already thought of was that it changed all of the origin, the locations as the location owner to the owner of the mare, which all of them that are here are wrong. So I went in and chose all the mare.
Okay.
I go into the massive update and select the horses I want and change them all at once, which was phenomenal.
Okay. Gotcha. All right, let's get started then. I was killing time here, so everybody else, you guys, feel free to just chime in. Allison and I were very talkative. If you don't break us, Allison and I will take the floor all the time. So this is an open session. There's no kind of an agenda. We just have one topic to discuss, but most definitely your input is going to be the decision we're going to make on this module. Regarding customer profile update, I think it's something that we are trying to, improve as much as we can, so our customers can have the best experience ever providing their records data. But not only that, we have the latest, but also a good history, so we can trace back who did what was done and who did it. Accountability in the system as well. A couple of announcements before I get started. I don't know if you guys noticed, but now we are doing a beta test with the new feature from the Facebook. Personally, I am loving it. It's the Facebook appointments, through which you can check my availability. Just go there, pick a time and you schedule a support session with me. Support sessions, Shahid doesn't have one yet. Hopefully, I will be able to create one for him soon. I don't know if Facebook allows that. For now, it's only with me. It doesn't allow Shahid to schedule appointment. So basically, just to remind you guys, if you have problems with connections, if you cannot access Wise Option at all, go for Shahid first. He is your guy. I try to simplify saying that if it is, if your problem is related up to the login moment in Wise Option, very likely it's Shahid who's going to give you a hand on that. After you log in into the program and you see the Wise Option on the main screen and you have problems inside the program, that is going to be a session that's more likely going to be with me. So the Facebook appointments have been helpful, so you can check your availability. I'm creating always slots of 1 hour. Don't worry if it is not that long. You give me a break for a coffee or to catch up with my list if we don't take that long. But make use of that and help me to test that feature during this period. I am in a campaign here for more likes and testimonials. We are planning to go to AAP. We're going to launch our new website. So please, please, please. I know that takes time, and it's kind of one more thing on your busy day. But if you had the chance to put a testimony on our Facebook page, just some, grade us and give us your stars about that would be much, much appreciated. We're going to try to, come up with a good campaign, and we'd like to use that as one of our reference. If you could, just one sentence, something that you have to say about Wise Option. I am with all my plans confirmed for AAEP. I'm going to be arriving in town, Denver, Colorado on the 6th, and I'm going to stay the whole week, visit some places around. So if you know other peers and partners, or if you have some referrals for us in Colorado or in Denver area, please let me know. Much appreciated as well. I am going to seize the opportunity since I am in Denver and a bunch of people will be crossing by. I'm going to try to continue with our campaign. We are building the website, and part of the website is going to be for testimonials. And I'm going to try to do some interviews myself featuring some of your businesses. So if you'd like to feature in one of on our new website, we're going to do some social media campaigns, and it's going to be a good opportunity, not only for you to help us, to have a solid software company for you guys, but also the opportunity to, feature your business. And we're going to be making uh, social media campaigns and stuff. So if you could spare some of your time for us just to spare, it's a conversation. We're going to record the conversation and the editors are going to clip in there and put on the website and put your names and stuff and the videos that's going to show on the new website. Also, I would like to ask permission to some of you guys. I'm going to do that on Facebook as well. Nothing extremely complicated or bureaucratic. I'm just going to put on the discussion group probably a request for your permission to use some of your pictures on your website, to use on our website. I have had a very hard time trying to find good pictures to put on our new website, and I noticed that our customers have amazing pictures. So I was thinking, you know what? I'm going to ask permission. You are not required to do that, but I'm going to ask permission to use some of your pictures, and of course, give the credits and keep two birds at the same time. Have a nice picture, put your name, which is some sort of a testimonial and advertising for your business as well. I might even put a link to your website or something like that. But instead of trying to buy out of public images, why don't us, help each other? And I just would put your pictures, the ones that I like, and just put a credits on the side with your, business name, a link, and just saying that you are with us. Um, Global Vet Link, as Allison said, it's already out there. Still, like any feature, there's a few minor things that we need to tune up and improve, and some adjustment. Let us know as you go. The only thing that I'd like to call your attention to is that one frequent question that has been is that when you are doing the integration on GVL and you are trying to send tests for multiple patients, users were saying, hey, Eduardo, there's something wrong because when I create my queries over here, it is not coming all the patients that I'm looking for. And it's because your query is going to go after only patients with Global Vet Link already linked to WiseOption. So if the patient is not linked in WiseOption yet, although matching to your query, because of the lack of link with Global Vet Link in WiseOption's patient's profile, and by that, I am talking about only patients with this particular button here should be green. Only patients with this button here in green will show in your list. We're going to have regular hours. I'm going to be available in the house, probably a little hangover on Friday for Thanksgiving, but I'll be working normally. We're going to take just Thursday off. And at the end of the year, just a couple of announcements. I'm about to finish here. At the end of the year, so you guys know, our last day is gonna be on the 20th. And let me take a look at the calendar here real quick. So December 20th is gonna be our last day. From the 23rd up to the 3rd, we're gonna be checking our emails at least, twice a day, morning and evening. But emergencies only during this period, from the 23rd to the 3rd. Our developers are really burned out, and I decided to give them a 2-week pay, off so they can recharge the batteries and be good. We'll be, regular hours on January 6th. That's our schedule. We have a schedule for December 2nd, one more session for WiseOption 5 questions users. So users are still in WiseOption 5. I'm inviting people. So if you have the chance to, let them know. Not everybody is yet participating in our discussion group. So not everybody is aware of that. I'm going to send a mailing as well. But two things. Number one is I would encourage all your co-workers to participate in the WiseOption discussion group so they know. We are using mostly Facebook for our official announcements. So if you want to do the latest and you want to get things, go for that. Instagram as well, but not as much. Facebook is our primary source. And WiseOption 5 question is going to be, again, for those who could not come to the workshop, we're going to try to answer more questions. If some of Wise Option 6 could attend just to help us to answer some questions. Should be something straightforward. If you are coming, if you are Wise Option 6 and you are coming, I'm going to give you a heads up. Come after 30 minutes instead of the hour. Come 30 minutes late because on the first 30 minutes, I'm going to pretty much repeating some of my slides during the presentation in the workshop. So I just want to save you some time. And your presence would be pretty much to help me answer some questions with your experiences and so forth. I think this completes my announcement. So we're going to jump straight on the customer management. Anybody would like to make a comment or a question up to the point so far based on the announcements?
Nope. Eduardo, Ryan Ferris here. Is Shahid's contact information, or how do we get in touch with him if we need him?
Shahid. Let me get his phone number here right now. I am going to find a way to put that for sure. You know, one thing that I should do, I think, is to put I think this computer here allows me to go to the Facebook page. I'm not quite sure. Because this is a cloud server, test server. Yes, this is my page, Wise Option. Actually, if I go to the discussion, probably I'm going to put in the discussion group, you know, right here, this right here, this very page here. I'm going to, you know, put Shahid's phone number and my phone number just in case. I'm not sure if Shahid is participating. This is the book now button that I'm talking about. I'm going to give it to you now, Ryan, so you can write it down, but I'm going to make sure that I have it available on the new website for sure. It's going to be on the contact us page. Actually, I'm going to even put there some roadmap how to get the best support based on your situation. Shahid's phone number is 214-989-7690. So let me put it over here somewhere just so you see what I'm saying. It's 214-989-7690. So this is his phone number, and he's pretty good at like me. Sometimes we are on the phone, and text message is pretty good as well. So we were initially trying to get users to use the support ticket, but we understand that text message today is one of the things. As soon as I have some time, hopefully someday, I will get a better way to create support tickets through text messages as well. But until then, we are trying to assist you guys in the best way we can, regardless where you go, emails, text messages, Facebook page, or the support ticket itself. We're going to try to be with you, as fast as possible. Okay, let's go for the customer profile thing. As you guys know, you have in your pages the chance to, put a link, and they click on that link and they go to the page, they update, they enter their information, and as soon as they enter the information, that information comes here into this page, where you can, through the link here on the side, either accept and link to an existing patient or add as a new customer. Here is what I was thinking. In Wise Option e-billing, I will not pull up one, but pretend that this is the Wise Option e-billing here. I don't think I have one here that I can pull. In the Wise Option e-billing, what happens is that when the customer clicks on the link, they're going to see the statement on the page on the top here. Can you guys see my mouse?
Yeah.
Okay. So you're going to see here on this side here, you're going to see your logo. On this side here, you're going to see, your business information. And down here, you're going to see kind of a label for the customer information. Right, moving a little bit to the right side, more or less in this position over here, we're going to have a label link that says update profile. And when they click on the update profile, we are going to try to mimic as much as possible, as close as possible to what you guys have today here in the, I'm sorry, I didn't want to bring let me grab a fake customer here. We're going to try to give them the option to update this portion here, not sort ID. The business, the owner, spouse, trainer, pretty much they're gonna see one frame for this. Imagine if I'm building a little Frankenstein page here. So one side of the page is going to be this. Another side of the page is going to be exactly what you see here on the phone with the plus and the edit. We're going to mimic exactly what you see in the system. So basically they would have the chance to highlight one and edit. We are going to try to keep it separate because that page is going to be primarily only for that. So we're going to maybe keep one frame. Let me see if I can come up here. So it would be more or less like this. Here your information, here the customer information, and here the label link update profile, here your logo. This would be in the e-billing. Now, when they go to the page, they would have, some label here, they would have some label here about customer profile update. Probably your logo would be over here. The identification, that first frame would be here. And then I would keep probably one box for the phone numbers, one box for the addresses, and one box for the email addresses. I don't know if it's horizontal like this or vertical. And then down here, I was planning to put the digital wallet where they can see the cards, a button down here that they can add the cards, another button right here that they can highlight one of the cards and click on the button and set as the default. Another thing that we're going to allow them to do is that when they click on the add a new card, and by adding the new card, the program would ask if the user, the customer wants to make that automatically make that card as the default one. And then down here, we would have a button for them to complete the update. All that we are doing here in this entire process can be done in memory, not necessarily by saving here, going straight to the database. And that's where I have a question for you guys. I don't know how extensive or flexible this update should be allowed to them. So what I was thinking, and I'd like to pick your brain on this one, is that instead of going and letting them, I could, if you guys say that it's fine, I could let them just do the update, register the histories, and shoot you guys an email saying, hey, guess what? Your customer updated profile. Check it out for review if you need it. So this is one option. Let them go and update whatever they want. Fine, no problem. Another thing would be instead save the information. It's a little bit more complicated. There's a few more steps, but I don't know. That's where I'm not quite sure about how deep or far you guys want to go with the precautions. And then we would send you an update saying, hey, I put that profile update pending over here. I would give the customer while it's in the page saying, hey, guess what? You are still, this is about to come, so wait a little bit. And, we're going to approve your changes and then you're going to see in your profile, something like that, because the customer probably, as they save the information, very likely they would expect the information to be updated, and I don't want them to refresh the page and see that the data is not there yet. I hope I'm making sense myself here, but on the option number 2, it would be sitting here for your review and approval. This is the initial, just opening the floor, and I'd like to hear what you guys, if I'm being clear in your guys' input.
Okay, I have 2 things. One, I think it's a great idea to let them update it. However, will you go back to the customers page right there? Where it says ranch and email address, can we have maybe a designation somehow that the customer entered that? And we can still select the default, things like that. But the same thing on the credit card. I know it just, like currently, if a customer enters it, it doesn't have a user from Wise Option that entered it. So I just think that I personally think it's a good idea for them to be able to update things. I would just like to have it flagged that it was entered by them somehow.
I see what you're saying. So I understand what let me repeat back to you to see if I got it right. It's okay for them to make the update in the system themselves as definitive, not waiting for any kind of approval, as long as we have a flag who did that. That was the customer, not you.
Sounds fine. I like that, but I think that, and it's critical we get an email and notified, but I like that so that yes, when they refresh the page, it updates, because almost everything that we touch on the web right now, like, would update. Some of them, I've gotten some profile updates that are either incomplete or they spelled it wrong or whatever. And so you have to go back after them and clean it up because it's incorrect. But I would just like to make sure that we're aware of what was changed and what was added. Maybe even keep the pending profile update. It wouldn't be pending anymore, but it would be current profile updates that we could go and review all the information in kind of one screen per customer that was updated. Because they may only update their email. They may only update their new billing address. They may only update a credit card.
Every time we go to the customer, you have a kind of a history, what was in, for example, if I go here in the customer and I change it for Dr. Carl Stad, and I go to the history, the system maintains a history step by step what was done.
Okay, that works.
And likewise in the phone number, if I change, this phone number was wrong. If I edit this phone number here, they said it was not 90, it was 80 here, and I save that information and I go to the history, the program maintains. There is, as a matter of fact, this is one of the features very few users are aware of about the accountability. There's no more, I didn't do that, I did. As long as you don't share your password, Wise Option will say, yes, you did it.
Do you think we could have one history kind of thing that would encompass every, like the credit card,
I can. Everything that is identified. So, group them up, all the changes instead of going to different. Here, I can do that. Yes. Well, first of all, I think that an email, it's something, maybe not everything here. I would keep separate over here, but probably in the email I send to you, that Wise Option automatically prompts an email to the main account. You're going to receive an email saying, hey, customer account number 321 so and so, update profile, and I'm going to put 2 columns, how it was, how it is.
I like that a lot.
Before and after, and all only showing the fields that suffered some sort of update.
That's perfect for me.
Mac. I'm still struggling with sometimes Mac commands.
Eduardo, the only thing I'll add here, Ryan Ferris here, if you ever send anybody to collections, at least the one collection agency we've used, they want to see, if you have it, a log of all of the contact information for that client you've ever had and who has changed addresses, phone numbers, etc. So maintaining that history and who's putting it in is crucial from if you want to try to collect on those people. And the more information you have, basically, the more money they'll give you back, because if you have a good quality of line item of, hey, the customer actually updated the address, they'll give you a higher percentage back on your return.
Gotcha. One hard thing that I have here, and I have to discuss today, attending the meeting with us, Shishpa, one of our senior developers, he is with us, and I wanted him to come exactly to hear from you guys as well. And he's the one who's going to put the hands on code. And I was discussing with Shishpa one of the hard things that I have to do, and I'm going to ask Shishpa to jump in a minute. It's about this. When we do changes like I just did, the program knows the username, and we have. But when we put this out there on the web, excuse me, I can put a note here that it was done by customer. We don't know who, if it was the secretary, of course, because they simply were able to open their profile because they have the link with the encrypted key to see their statement. I'm going to say customer, but I don't know who. I'm going to have the date and time, and of course I can keep track of what was done. Does it make sense what I'm saying here?
Eduardo,
Yeah.
could you simply have a thing when they hit save on their profile update, a box pops up and goes, please insert the name of who changed this data or something like that, and they could type in John Smith, and then John Smith would show up in that user?
I like that. I like that.
And
And we make that mandatory. Usually they're going to put users, visitors, they're going to put dashes, periods. We can try to come up with some sort of a restriction, but that's a pretty good idea.
And even to go farther, like when Andrea was talking and stuff and having them do a digital signature that requires some sort of action, if they type their name in, to Ryan's point, that makes them a little more accountable also down the line, whether it's credit card information and disputing that or anything else. So a name and some actionable thing that would cause them to be liable would be great.
I'm not quite sure if I get.
Yeah, I didn't even think about it from a credit card standpoint, but that's a great point, Allison, because then you can go back to the owner and go, well, Bob entered this on September 5th and gave us this information. So they have somebody to go back and talk to.
Yeah.
I missed this last part, Allison. Would you mind to repeat that?
Yeah. So I know that, okay, like I signed all my real estate documents online, and you have to do some sort of action. Ask Andrea, she talked all about this at our meeting. You have to do some sort of actionable thing, and it becomes a digital signature essentially. And whether you type your name out or then you go to another box, type your initials, things like that, it would be worth looking into incorporating this, since we're talking about
I see.
credit cards and all of that.
Let me tell you something that can give it a legit digital signature that happens, let's say, automatically behind the scenes.
Mm-hmm.
And it will go like this. It is possible, not saying that a user would do this, but it is possible for a user to go to the account and send an email message to himself. So I send an email to eduardo@wiseoption.com.
Hmm.
And I'm going to click on the link because now I have the encrypted key. And I go there and update the profile, and it's going to show as a customer because it was through the browser. Okay?
Right.
What we can do here, and I hope Shishpa is taking notes right now, it's that through parameters in our link, in that link, we can encrypt the email address that link was sent to as encrypted. Users cannot change that because it's encrypted. It's going to look like 8,-35B7, whatever, and the computer will decrypt that and this browser view came from an email sent to eduardo@wiseoption.com. Does it make sense what I'm saying, Alison?
Yeah, and I think that's a great idea, because I have sent customers e-billings to myself so that I can see what they see and talk them through things. And so whether they forward that link onto the secretary, whether they
Yes.
forward it to the wife or husband or whoever is actually making it, it might not be the person we sent it to originally.
Yes. So in that case, behind the scenes, through that encrypted perimeter, okay, which is part of the link that was sent in the email message, users cannot change that, because if you change one comma, one number, one letter, that link doesn't work anymore. And that link says which email address, kind of a signature. We don't know if it is John or Mary, but we know the email address that that link was sent to. So that is legit. It's not a link that was sent to, Eduardo at Wise Option. It was sent actually to John Smith at Double Case Farm.
Okay, so maybe I misunderstood that. If I send it, okay, let's just say I send myself an e-billing for a customer because I want to make some notes on it and then forward it to them. Does that mean that when they open it with their email address, it no longer works?
Well, that's not a good option, because in that case, what's happening is that the link, if you send the bill and down here, you change this email address in here and you put Allison at RoyalVistaSouthwest.com, the signature is going to come as Allison made the change. If you want to make change, if you want to make notations for the customers, you should leave the original customer address here. Before you send a mail, you make your notes up here and then you send.
Okay, so what about the people that want to see it but send it on to their accountant to pay, or their secretary email? Or we do have people that do that enough that I think that making it where they can't access it if they forward it.
But if let's say that you sent to John Smith at Double K Farms.
Yeah.
John Smith forwards that to Miss Susan Baker, who's the owner in Arizona.
Yeah.
Well, it's still John Baker, which is John Smith, which is the same farm. At least it's not you.
Okay.
But
You're just saying they can open it. We're just saying that the
itself,
email address
the link
encrypted.
itself, I'm sorry, it's just to the link itself has encrypted within the link which email address that was originally sent to. And that would be the signature we would use as the person performing the update.
I got it. Okay, works for me. I think that's a great idea.
Another thing that it's a node which...
Eduardo, I don't know if that's accurate, though. I don't know if that's accurate, because if I send that to John Smith and Susan Baker's the one who updates all the information, if John Smith calls me all pissed off because I charged a credit card that Susan Baker entered, I don't know that Susan entered it versus John versus anybody entering it.
I can
Does that
still
make sense?
use the input box that you are suggesting.
Okay.
I just wanted to have something more reliable in the backstage that users cannot modify. So we could do a combination of both.
I like the combination aspect.
Does it make sense?
I second Allison.
Because since we are out there in the cloud, that's why I had so many questions and I needed this meeting, because as you see, it's not so straightforward as it is. There are several nuances and, little deviations in the path that cause a huge, problem, kind of. And I don't want to make something cumbersome. I could, for example, create here in the customer some sort of another tab over here that you create users with passwords for them to make that profile. Okay, that's one possibility. I could create but you would have to create the list of users here, assign a password, or send an email for them to create their own password. It's more thorough, but it's way more cumbersome as well.
I got a headache you just talking about that right then.
You see? So we're just trying to get data, and we don't want to hold customers back off providing data. So well, and again, this is not written on the stone. We can change down the road if well, let me see where I put this note here. Send an email upon button, show input box. Yes. Also,
And while showing this input box for entering the customer name, we can pre-populate with the customer name, uh, with the customer name for which the email is sent.
oh, so what you're saying, if they click on the input box, we auto populate with the customer name?
Yes.
Gotcha. It's a suggestion. Yes.
One thing that you didn't mention when you were talking about all the things they could update was the billing options, and that's my main concern.
What do you mean?
The billing options.
Oh, okay. We're gonna go there.
Okay.
Auto populate. What do you guys think about this one here? Do you think we should auto populate or force them to type something?
I think you make them type it.
Anybody else?
Type.
Type. Okay. Got it. Now, part of this as well would be the billing options. Especially, I think Allison has a long time wish that, for them to have this, and let me save this, and I look at the history. As you can see, it also maintains. Okay, so.
Hey, whoa. Go back to your history real quick.
Uh-huh.
Why do they both say full balance when one of them is manual?
The second one was empty. Good catch. Let me see if I do send. Did not hit save. Send authorization. Let's see what it says. Yeah, when it's manual, it's coming empty. Shishpal, put that in your list, please.
Okay.
So when we are selecting manual, this is a glitch. When you're selecting manual in the history, manual charge is coming empty. Good catch, Allison.
I have a question right there, Eduardo. Can we not delete a payment preference? Like if it says credit card and then they decide that they want to write a check, but can we not delete that and have it as no preference?
We can create a no preference here.
Okay, I would like that because it seems as though if their credit card doesn't work anymore and their check, they come up on my credit cards list still. I'd like for there to be an option that we either leave it blank or have it as NA or something.
Okay, let me add to my list here. Shishpal, add to your list as well, please. I'm going to put on TFS, but for us to add, and let me put on TFS right now, Shishpal, for you. Just 1 second. That's an easy one. I'm going to say customer profile customer file, billing options, payment preference, add an option for no preference, Allison?
Yes, sir.
Okay, got it. It's on TFS, okay, Shishpal?
Okay.
All right. Now, how about like we have credit card payments? If you don't want that customer to change the information, would you guys like to have some place somewhere that they cannot update profile online? Is there a possibility for that?
Wouldn't be a bad option to have on a specific client here or there that kind of locks them out of changing
I'm
stuff.
thinking about those collections or trouble customers, and if they want to mess up with your records, they go there and just delete their phone number so you don't call them anymore. Of course, they don't know that the phone is in the history.
It's probably a good idea.
No, let's leave that for a second moment then, because this would be a little bit more complicated and we already have a good homework, but it's something for us to keep in mind. Since we're going to keep trace of, everything that has changed, and there's history, there's recollection, and taking in account.
Eduardo, before you leave that,
Go ahead.
so when they see this billing options, are they going to be able to see the show discount details on invoices, show exception details on invoices, etc.?
Initially, yes, but it can be the way you guys want. That's the reason for the meeting.
I mean, I would assume some of those things would just be for us to make those decisions, like credit card partial payments. That's my decision for them to make partial payments, not their decision.
I agree. Good call. Maybe we just let them do paper bill or paperless only.
I think that if they were to opt for an additional e-bill kind of thing, or that kind, if they request their bill be sent via email, that would be okay. And maybe that needs to be a user-based preference, because I don't want anybody to turn off paper bill. I send every single person a paper bill. So mine would be in addition to, and maybe that's a user preference. But Ryan has a good point.
Well, if you send everybody,
95% of my clients do not paper bill.
Yeah, if you send a paper bill to everybody, regardless, these two options here for you, it's meaningless. I mean, the paperless is one important, but the paper doesn't matter at all.
Well, if the paper bill isn't checked, it doesn't get printed based on the query.
I'm saying that in your query, you ignore the paper because based on what you just said, you're going to print regardless.
Okay.
So you just remove from your query the paper, constraint.
Okay.
And that, but for your electronic, yes, you would consider in your query the paperless e-bill.
Is this ability to let the customers do this, is this something that we can deal with in tools options and make it a farm-based preference? Like if you want them to have access to certain things or not, or are we doing things on the web that isn't quite so able to be constricted in the preferences for tools options?
Well, in the tools option is more like when you are creating a new customer, so you don't have to review the billing options. So it's in the tools option is pretty much saying, if I create a new customer account, use this as a standard. This is my standard. So
right. I'm just saying, is what we're doing something that we could make a tab for things that we would allow customers to modify or add or edit, that kind of thing?
I don't think I'm following.
If Ryan's wants to allow,
asking, I was just going to rephrase it. I think what she's asking here is if where I might say clients can check credit card partial payments for our program. Allison says absolutely not. A client can never check that box, and I don't even want to show it to them. Can we customize this screen, or is it going to be universal for all farms across the board?
Now I get it. Okay, got it.
Yes. Thank you, Ryan.
Got it. Okay. For you to pick and choose which fields you want them, allow them to update.
Yes.
Yeah, it is possible. It is possible. I would appreciate you guys can save me time because these customizations take time and hours of code. If it is something that is going to have a huge variance, but the vast majority is going to come into an agreement, it's not something so controversial, I would appreciate saving time. But if it is something that does have, saving my time should not be the priority. If it is something that does have, you know, high chance of need for individual customization, that's the way we should go for it. But it seems to me that, you know, some of these things show very kind of internal management. The only two things that I do see as something that customers should have a voice, it's probably the pay-per-view and paperless. All the others look to me more like a internal management thing.
I agree.
I would agree.
Okay. But yes, it's possible.
Eduardo, just a
If we get to that
suggestion.
point, we can go for that route if needed on version 2 of this, probably. Go ahead, Ryan.
Right. Just a suggestion here, Eduardo, because I think there's only 5 or 6 of us on board here today, and we're making decisions for however many customers you have. You may want to put together a draft of what this would look like and send it out with SurveyMonkey or something like that to all the users and go,
Nope.
do you want option 1 or 2?
No. Everybody was invited.
For this, because otherwise 5 people dictate this.
No. I don't have time for this. Everybody was invited. If they came, they came. If they didn't come, I'm sorry. You know, the majority on the floor decides, and I'm going to stick with it.
Fair enough.
So, you know, otherwise it's going to be rounding and rounding.
Mental note, attend the meeting.
Yeah. No, everybody has the chance to make a voice, and you know, if they don't want to be here, you know, they're okay with whatever we decide for them. I think that's okay.
So Eduardo, this is Cindy. Even if we give the customer the option to choose whether they want a paperless or paper billing, as you know here, how we operate, we are still going to need to have a paper copy to be reviewed before we send out a paperless. Is going to be this last module that you had open, that wouldn't limit us, would it, here in the office?
What you can do when you go to the tools and options and you go for the billing, and you go for the summary. And by the way, I made a little inversion here. This button here used to be the last, and this one should be here, but it didn't make sense. Just to let you know that first you automate your charge, then you print your statement. So the credits that you got here are in here. Just a quick.
Okay.
Now, let me show you what I was talking about, Cindy. When you go to your printing statements, you know, I'm not paying attention to the dates here because I'm not going to run anything. When you create your queries here in managing your lists, you can say, regardless of customer options, print everybody.
Okay.
But other places could use that, so it is not mandatory, it's optional.
Okay.
You can either consider or simply disregard that checkbox for the hard copy version of your statements. On the other hand, you could have another query that is meant for electronic billing, and you say, oh, for electronic billing, I wanted to consider that checkbox. So it's either or. If you need help customizing that, let me know. We have a private session and I can guide you through the process.
Okay.
All right. Good question. Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Well, I think this was very productive, guys. You guys brought tons of insight. I expect more sessions like this coming at you, okay? I will try not to give last minute like this one. I'm going to try to be more, but Shishpa and I were on the crossroad here, having to decide a couple of things before putting this out there for you. A couple of more weeks, you should have the first draft of this available. I think we have a pretty good homework here. I'm very satisfied with what I see here. And most, especially this is going to give you guys what you need, the way you need. Awesome. Any final questions, comments, anything that you'd like to put on the floor? Nope. All right. Go ahead.
I'm good.
Allison?
I have just one little quick thing.
Yes.
Let me formulate my statement here. Hold on just 2 seconds. I have an issue or question about when a customer clicks our link to update their profile thing. Hang on. I was going to say something about, I struggle with this when I have to use it. Another one of your users has me update our information. And one of their things says that you can, through the client portal, you can update your stuff, update your personal information as well as your credit card information. And it seemed like those are two different things, right?
If you have one example on your screen, I could take a look at it.
Maybe I need to hang on, let me go to my.
When customers go and they receive a statement, they click on the Pay Now button. If there's no credit card, the first thing it shows, it's a screen where they can enter the credit card number. That's the very first thing we try to do, is to get a credit card number. We don't say anything. We don't ask for updates, none of that. We go for the credit card number.
Uh-huh.
But if there is a credit card number, then Shishpal, correct me if I'm wrong here. Then if there is a credit card number, it pops up the screen where they can see the wallet. They can maintain the wallet before they complete the payment. Choose the default card and so.
Yes.
But if there's no credit card, we don't show anything. We just show the screen for them to enter the card.
And I think my question is, and maybe you and I just need to talk, but one of them, like, we have the link that goes to where you can update your profile from, like, say, our email signature or the link on our website.
Okay, that profile, it's creating a file, a new customer file. I see now what you're saying. I'm sorry.
I mean, is there any way we can make some of that look the same or go to the same place or serve some joint function in that
I see what aspect? You're saying. Try to make look alike at least.
Something like that? Or does anybody else, Cindy, I know you guys use the link part to put credit cards in, but then e-billing, it's kind of different.
Hey, Allison, can you repeat that? I'm so sorry.
I know. And I'm sorry. I have this question I can't really remember because we've not been doing this so long. But I know, okay, Equiembryo has me put in my credit card whenever we send a horse up. So I enter my email address and it sends me back a link, and I go there and I enter my address and all that in a credit card thing. But I don't have anywhere to update like it is in the e-billing and all of that. It seems like they're two very separate ways to get my information, but I can't do both things from the same place. It just seems cumbersome as a client. Like on my emails, when I send out a contract, I have a place for them to update their customer information, and then I have a different place for them to go to see their account.
Okay. Yeah, we don't utilize that either, so I don't have, I mean, in the respect to updating, are you just talking about updating their credit card information?
Well, no, yes and no. We have this client portal that you've given us, Eduardo, right? That we can put on our website and all that kind of thing to update their account. We now have a link. You've given us the link so that we can put it in form letters to view their summary account. Eduardo, is it my understanding, is that correct, that if I put the link to view their summary account, they can now or will be able to do all the things they used to be able to do in the client portal update section?
That's correct.
And we can eliminate that?
That's correct. And
Yeah, okay.
one note, that's correct. One thing is that if they click to do some sort of update, let's say that it's an existing customer, very likely they're going to receive a statement and click on the Pay Now button.
Right.
But if it is not an existing customer, on the other hand, it's a new customer, and they're going to your website and clicking for the customer profile update, yes, the screen looks completely different. And we're going to try to make both look exactly the same.
Okay. I'm good.
Okay.
Now, the
We
third
have to
option that is coming, the third option is a customer has a profile, has everything. It's an existing customer. They can click on the Pay Now button to update the profile. That's okay. They can update the wallet. But on the top, by the customer information on the browser, on the online statement, there will be a new label link which says update profile. And that's where customers will have more flexibility. They're going to have more fields to work with, like spouse, trainer name. They're going to have, spots for billing options. They're going to have spots for phone numbers, for email addresses. And one thing that is very cumbersome, I'm pretty sure you're going to have to work another session for version 2 and making some minor tunes and adjustment, is, for example, when we are talking about email addresses, let me grab one. As soon as you enter the second email addresses, customers have the chance to pick these options here. Is this email address for billing, for, whatever it is? So, and set up the email addresses here. What is the email address for each one of them? So we're going to have to work this out a little bit, but I'm going to leave these questions for version 2. Let me and Shishpal come up with some suggestions on this first version, go through over your kind of major overall requirements. And then when we get to this minor tune-ups inside the form itself, then I'm going to probably come back and open another session for discussion. Does it make sense?
I have one little question and then I'll be quiet the rest of the time, I promise. Click phone numbers, would you? And add one. And click description. No, click the blue label link.
They will not be able to change that.
But we can. So
You can.
what are you going to offer them?
I'm going to offer them the chance to pick from the list or write something here. But they will not be able, they can tab over and leave that.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Is your list just going to be the default list that it comes with?
The default list is just so you can pick and all of them look alike. It's kind of avoiding you to have to type it. So you just start typing it and you pick one. But that field allows you to write whatever you want as well.
But there won't be any kind of conflict if
No.
if our list looks different now after modification?
No, once they come
Okay, good.
here, they will not be able to edit or modify your default list. They will be able to enter, as you can see, that thing that I just entered, my special home, is not in the list. It
Is
was
the list going to be individual per farm?
the list over here is just kind of a shortcut for you don't have to write the word mobile. You know, so if you just, for example, if I just start typing MO, it grabs which one you want, and it's more for look appearance. But if I go there and instead of mobile, I go to the end and I say, it will take it. It will take it. It will not change the list, but it will take it, whatever you write.
Okay.
You know, you could say mobile daughter, mobile, business. You can improve, but the default list is only you. When you click on the description label link, you're going to be able to change that.
Okay.
All right. Okay, guys,
Okay.
thank you so much for coming. Please, please, please ask everyone in your operation to join our discussion group. Teach them how to look at the list of new features. That help a lot. And I will see you all next time. And if you can give me that, review on the website, much appreciated. If you are on AAP, let me know and let's have some coffee, maybe a beer together. All right? See you next
Bye,
time.
Eduardo. Thanks.
Thank you so much, guys.
Sure,
Shishpal,
sounds good, Eduardo. Thank you. Bye.
you're welcome. See you next. Shishpal, I'm going to send you a meet right after, and you and I are going to review some of the code behind together. Thanks for coming, man.
Okay, thank you.